And welcome in to In-Game Chat for Saturday, June the 7th, 2025. Season 19, episode number 18 here. I'm Scott.
And I'm RJ.
Welcome into the show, everybody. If you want to get in touch with us, our phone number is 3342. Well, no, we got the phones there. Busied out. You can check out ingamechat.net for all the links to get in touch with us. You can also find us on Twitter at InGameChat, as well as on Facebook. I do this every single time. For whatever reason, the burps only come as soon as the microphone's turned on.
Yep.
I don't know why that is. Happens in the mornings, too, when I'm doing my little segments on there. It just, I don't know. Probably some kind of breathing thing. You can find us on Twitter. You can also at In-Game Chat. You can also find us on Facebook as well. You can email us, everyone, at ingamechat.net. We are streaming on Twitch right now. Go to twitch.tv, and you can find us there. If you just do the little thing, search for In-Game Chat on Twitch, and you can find us and join us in the chat room live while we broadcast. All right. Oh, yeah, let me do this. Ryan reminded me, and I should take him up on that. There we go. All right, it's official. Show started. RJ, welcome in, my friend.
Thank you.
Welcome back again to the show that never ends. Oh, man. I was able to breathe before I can't, again, turn the mic on, and then the nose, clogs up and everything else. So, we'll get through it together. So, boy, it's been a week. Because, we've had a whole bunch of stuff going on. There was the State of Play that happened on the Wednesday from Sony. Probably heard about that, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. There was a significant reveal in that State of Play that I didn't see coming. I'm not sure who saw that coming. Had no idea that was coming, but we will get into that here in just a few for you as well. Then we had the Switch 2 release on Thursday, and then, of course, yesterday and kind of today. We won't really talk about much that was going on today with Summer Games Fest or the Future Game Show, Wholesome Game Direct. There's a lot that happened today that we're not going to get into, but we will be getting into that for next week. So it's kind of like a 2-week deal here, because today it'll be Summer Games Fest from last night, Day of the Devs, and the very little thing that Devolver did, which I have to talk about. Not necessarily what they did, but the game they promoted. And then next week we're going to cover the stuff that happened today with Future Game Show, Wholesome Game Direct, all that stuff, and the stuff that's happening tomorrow with Microsoft's big thing and the Outer Worlds 2 Direct thing. It's fine. I'm not really worried about that. But whatever Microsoft's got planned for us for tomorrow, we'll be talking about that next week. So it's kind of like 2 weeks of going over all of this stuff. And I have no idea what's planned for the week ahead. I know Ubisoft hasn't announced anything. And given their current state of affairs as far as things not really working out like they wanted them to, not selling well like they wanted them to, I don't necessarily know that they will do anything. I'm not sure. I feel like, though, that they've got an Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag remake somewhere in there. I've just heard too many rumors and heard too much about that being a possibility that it's likely something we're going to get out of them.
Has it been long enough for a remake?
I think so. I think it's been. Yeah, I don't. Here, I'll look it up. Black Flag. I should probably put.
About to say, has it been at least 10 years on that thing?
Oh, let's see. I'll tell you. Oh man, it came out 2013. So yeah.
Okay.
It's been 10 years.
Okay.
And thank you, Discord, for reminding me that I am muted. Then again, you probably don't want to hear this nasally thing talking over you. Yeah, we're on Discord, by the way. You can join us in there in the chat room on Discord if you would like to do that as well. So, anyway, yeah, so, do I want to jump into what we've played? I mean, I might as well, just to get that out of the way. What have you played there, my friend?
Well, for the most part,
First Ascendant? First Ascendant?
Well, no, Dead Space, actually.
Oh,
I was trying to finish it off.
PS5, hey!
PS5, yeah. So
nice.
I was, for the most part, trying to finish off Dead Space as a training for what's coming up next.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to try impossible mode on that thing. So
Okay.
the first playthrough, you play to get a feel of the game and what's coming to you, and then the second playthrough, which is what I'm working on now, is hard mode. Because the only difference between hard mode and impossible apparently is the save limitations and the permadeath attribute.
Yeah.
So the difficulty is the same. It's just the saves and everything that's keeping you from playing reckless, so to speak. So it's good to get an idea of what's coming and everything, like knowing which rooms to take out all the cadavers that you can, because you know that's a room where one of those necromorph makers is coming in. So you want to know what's coming. That's the key. That was the key to getting through it anyway.
But I thought they tweaked that.
That's
I thought they tweaked how the monsters kind of work now.
Well,
because they expected you to know that, okay, I know that there's one there and there's one there, and they may still be there, but they've added more. They've changed the way the AI works.
Well, they may have tweaked some of the minor things, but the major things, the major things to me are the things that will absolutely get you killed if you don't know what you're doing. Not a lot of tweaking in that from what I've gathered. Like, this is the room where you're going to get ambushed. This is the room where you can't let anything explode in this area. Things like that.
Right.
The big major things, the things that'll kill a playthrough and make you have to start over again, or continue from hard. Because I think that's the stipulation. If you die, you're going to have to start over if you want to get the impossible clear through, or you can just continue from hard difficulty. But that's what I'm working on now, to get used to everything in the hard difficulty and keep going on. So outside of that, a little bit more of First Ascendant that I did play. I had a few get together with some friends of mine playing that, building up stuff and grinding here and there. A little bit.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of First Ascendant during the Summer Games Fest last night.
Yeah,
or
they
at
had
least a promo for a new.
Yeah, promo for a new season. August, I think. Early August, I think.
I just kind of looked at it and I was like, well, I'll ask RJ about that,
Yeah. So I thought, let's see, MLB The Show. Played a little bit of that as well, getting back into baseball a little bit here and there. And a little bit of Grand Theft Auto Online. I was doing some maintenance on there because it's been a minute since I played and got everything situated. So
not a single word about GTA for the Summer Games Fest. Not that they don't need it.
And they don't need it.
Yeah.
They don't need it.
They absolutely don't need it.
Yeah. But that's pretty much it this week.
So. All right. We just took a massive drop. In our stream quality, in our internet or something. Just a massive, just boom, big drop. Weird. I don't know what happened. Okay, it's back. It was just a real quick thing. Just boop boop. Okay. For me, I played a bunch of Assassin's Creed Mirage last Sunday. That was all right. I've figured out the pattern of do these little missions, which will unlock, or not unlock, but it'll get you more kind of investigation type stuff, where you'll find out more about the person that you don't know who you're looking for yet. But the more of this stuff you do, you start to put pieces together to find out who it is. The game does all of this for you, but yeah, it's very much rinse and repeat. You go to this bureau in this section of the map, and they have a person that they're looking out for, but you need to go talk to this person first so that they can figure out who the person is that you're looking for. You know what I mean? They have a contact. You go to them. You talk to them. They need you to do a thing. You do the thing. You get more information. You get more intel. And eventually you figure out where your target is going to be. Yeah. And once you do that, you go to the next bureau, you do the same thing, that sort of. So, I mean, it's all coming together, but it's all very repetitive.
Bunch of errand running.
It really feels like it. I mean, the more I thought about it, I was actually enjoying it, but the more I thought about it, the more I was like, man, I'm just doing the same thing over and over again. It's a little bit different, but honestly, most of it looks the same. I can't tell you, in most of the parts of Baghdad, or the city that I'm in, I can't tell you, like, where the city hasn't become a thing for me yet. In other words, I haven't been able to mentally map that city yet. And mainly because I think it's so much easier to fast travel. Like, you could be at one end of the map, and it's like, okay, now my next mission is way the hell over here. Mm-hmm. Well, instead of me trying to parkour through the city, I can just fast travel to one of my viewpoint places. And
was that always a thing in Assassin's Creed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was, except for it's only when it got bigger. Mm-hmm. In other words, I want to say Assassin's Creed 1 didn't have that. You couldn't fast travel between. You might could, I'm not sure. But it was more fun to parkour through the place to do it.
Yeah, because the area that you're working in is not that big. You could have fun parkouring from there. It didn't take long to get where you need to go. Is that?
I think so, and I think it opened up more, especially when you got especially with Black Flag, because then it's like getting your ship and go, or just you want to go across the menu to do that. With Assassin's Creed 3, same thing. You could fast travel between certain locations, and with Assassin's Creed 2 and on in, I think you could do the same thing because they opened up the world more.
Yeah, so city traversal was a thing. I mean, it's not as enjoyable as, say, a Spider-Man. Web slinging through the city. Slinging through the city could get you where you need to go quick.
It really could. So, and maybe even more so in 2. I haven't actually played that yet, but I know they made traversal even better in 2. Yeah. But haven't gotten there yet. Anyway, Assassin's Creed Mirage, played that, and I gave up. I stopped playing Doom. I was just like, I'm not gonna continue with Doom.
Too repetitive.
The Dark Ages. Maybe just too boring. It was boring for me to go through there. I mean, it was fun in parts, but once I played the mech, once I flew my dragon, once it just was like, same old, doing the same thing, and I just didn't want to do it.
Probably had the same feeling that I had about Dynasty Warriors. It's fun for the first 20, 30 minutes, but then it gets to a point where you're doing the same repetitive stuff.
I mean, it was fun using the shield. It was fun getting back into Doom, which I hadn't done in a while, of just, brain off, shoot things, go for it. Mm-hmm. But oddly enough, brain off is not fun.
Well, look, some games you can do that, but this one you can't.
And maybe it'll hit me back again. Thankfully, it's on Game Pass, so I don't really have to worry about it. But maybe it'll hit it back again where it's like, hey, let's do brain off again and just go nuts and shoot things. Sure, why not? So there's that. I did some demos. I played some demos as well. I played the Tron. I think it's called Tron Catalyst. I believe Tron. Was it no? Tron. Yeah, Tron Catalyst, I believe is the name of it. Yep, that's it, Tron Catalyst. There is a demo on Steam, and I really enjoyed that. I didn't even finish the demo. I got through the combat training, which seemed fun and kind of, I don't want to say easy, but simple enough to kind of figure it out.
Simple enough to give you a taste of what's
maybe, and I don't know if it expands upon what I learned so far. Mm-hmm. I don't know if there's more to it than what I did. I learned how to dash, attack, lock, parry, whatever the case may be. Stuff like that. But what else did I demo? A game called Dead as Disco. It is Dead as Disco. In other words, that guy is as dead as disco, it's called Dead as Disco, and I think the main character's name is like Johnny Disco or some stupid thing like that. That was kind of cool. It is a rhythm fighter. So as the music's playing, you're, hitting the beats and all this other stuff. A lot of it is taking care of it for you in some of the stuff, in some of the fighting. But you still have to press the button to activate. So the combat is Batman-esque, Arkham-esque, with your dodge, with the Y button and the attack and that sort of thing, and your takedowns and stuff. Very much, controller-based. I liked it.
Yeah.
I really, really liked it.
Yeah.
It goes from being an overhead type of, behind third person sort of thing where you can go. Then there was one where I got on a subway train and the camera kind of swoops around and then you've got a side scroller. So you just go through the subway train doing that sort of stuff. And then I think there's a boss or something like that. But I had a lot of fun with it. It's a short demo. I wish there was more to it. And there may actually be. I think there was a section where you could do endless fighting, I think. But it was enough for me to say, yep, that's good. I'm putting you on my wish list. You know, I want to play more of you. So those are 2 demos that I played that were actually very, very good, or at least that I enjoyed. Then I want to talk about a game that I played today. And of course, I've been doing my Marvel Snap. The game I played today was Devolver Digital's... In other words, Devolver did their, whatever this is, Summer Game Fest E3 thing.
Yeah.
Normally, it's like a 30-minute thing from Devolver where they do this, you know, they poke fun at all the other kind of E3 shows and all this other stuff.
Yeah, you're looking for a skit.
Yeah. They do this whole thing, and it's really cool. And they sort of did that, but they focused on one specific game. It was not 30 minutes long. It was more like 10 minutes, maybe even less than 10 minutes. And they only focused on one single game. And I'm not exactly sure. Let me see if I'm pronouncing it right. I guess it's Ball X Pit. You know, it's kind of those. It's one of those things where you have the X in front of it, or the X inside, kind of like a combination Ball and Pit or Ball X Pit. I don't know. So that was a fun little thing that I watched last night while they were doing. Because again, the Devolver put their humor into it, and it was really good. But they were still promoting a game, and I said, okay, we'll go take a look at that. It's kind of neat to go do this. So I added it on the demo Steam last night, but I didn't get around to playing it until this morning. And I'm sitting there playing it, and I'm going through, and I'm just like, okay, this is kind of neat, but it's kind of taken a while for me to like, you take a character, you go through a gauntlet type of thing, and when you die, you take the money you collected through it, and you take the experience that you collected through it, and your guy kind of, you know, moves up his experience points. You take the money and you go back to base and you build wheat fields and forests and things like this, and then you harvest those wheat fields and those forests for lumber and for wheat and all this other stuff, and that lets you do these other things. I have not uncovered exactly what I'm going to do with this stuff yet, but that's what you do. Then you get back into then you go back and you run the gauntlet again, and your guy levels up some more, and then you take the money and that sort of thing. I did that like 3 or 4 times. I was doing that, and as I kept doing it, and by the way, the gauntlet. So the gauntlet is, and is anybody in Twitch talking about this? No. Anyway, the gauntlet that you go through is a not necessarily top down, but it's third person, kind of conveyor beltish, where the enemies are coming down in a wave. I
want to say Arkanoid.
Yeah. Are you watching some of the? Did you look at that?
I pulled up.
Yeah. So your guy like shoots these balls out, and they hit an enemy, and they bounce back to you, or they hit the wall and they bounce around, and they keep bouncing around the screen until the ball comes back to you. And when it does, then you shoot it out again if you want to. But it's got a bunch of different. You've got a certain amount of balls that fire out, and they just bounce around the screen, hitting things until they return to you, and then they do that. I've got it set to auto fire. It's one of the things you can do, so I don't have to worry about that. I was going through, and about the third run, I thought, oh, no, let me get closer, because they start you at the bottom of the field, and then your enemies are at the top. So it takes a while for your balls to go up to the top and then to come back. So then I was like, oh, well, let me run up closer, and I'll start getting rid of these guys sooner. I have to wait for my ball to move around the screen. So I'm like, okay, that's great, blah, 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 blah. Did that 2 more times, and I was like, it's not really, okay, whatever. I go back into it like a 4th or 5th time. I can't remember. It was my time where I was like, I'll do another run, and that's about it. You know, one more, and that'll be fine. Then I realized, oh yeah, I forgot. You aim with the right trigger or the right thumbstick. You know, left thumbstick moves your character around. Right thumbstick is your aim, and if you're manually firing, you just pull the trigger on your controller and you fire it around. If you're auto firing, it doesn't matter. It just shoots wherever you're pointing.
It's a little bit of Robotron type, twin shooter type.
Well, then I thought, then that's when it hit me. It's like, you know what? I'm not playing this like I would be playing a Breakout, an Arachnoid type game. A Brick Breaker type game.
Yeah.
I'm not playing it like I would do that. I need to start playing it like that. So then I'm carving paths in my enemies so that I can get stuff behind them to bounce around and just do all of that stuff.
cause chaos back there.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you want to do.
Once I did that on that run,
it opened up for you. Yeah.
not only did it open up for me, I mean, I had a really good run on that one. Very good run. Which then exposed me to like more of the mechanics of the game, because as you did you ever play Vampire Survivors?
No, but I've seen enough. Seen
Right.
it in action.
So like you'd kill enemies and they'd leave behind a little bit of you could call it XP or something like that, but a little thing that you pick up and that kind of moves your bar up. Same thing. You have a health bar, but you also have an experience bar, and as you collect these gems that they drop, once that gets to the top, you get to pick something from an upgrade, whether it be how much damage the balls do, an extra ball, a fire rate increase, all kinds of different things.
Yeah, perks and stuff.
Yeah, different kind of perks. And it's like, okay, we'll do that. Then there's like a fusion thing that comes up every now and again. And when you pick that up, it will either... Yeah, I would say, Brotato is another one. Brotato is another way to look at that game as well. Very much a mix of that. A fusion thing that will either upgrade random abilities that you have to the next level, which does more damage, or increases fire rate, or does whatever it does. It just does it more of it.
Yeah.
Or it'll take two of your weapons and merge them into one thing.
Okay.
Which then becomes this hybrid thing of something. I'm not sure.
Saw something like that was either Dead Space 3 or I think it was Truxton, a vert shooter where you could take like various weapons on your ship, and one button represented a weapon on your ship, and if you hit like two buttons at the same time, both of those weapons would combine and fire a different way.
Well, these are once they combine, they're combined. And oh God, man, listen.
There's just more things to open it up and get you more interested. Mechanics.
Because I came away with so I unlocked a new character on that run. Came away with a massive amount of money. Unlocking so there was some kind of thing was dropped on the ground after I was doing this. After I was clearing this stuff as I was going through, and it was a blueprint, I guess, for a house, for a building.
Yeah.
So then, when you're done with that run, when I died on that run, you go back to your base camp, and you can then build that building, which will unlock that character. And you can also build other stuff, and eventually you can expand your area and build more things and houses and build more fields and different stuff to get resources. And I'm not sure exactly what all that's supposed to do, but get there eventually. But on that particular run, as soon as it happened and everything was starting to like, wow, look at all these gems on the ground for me to pick up. Look at all this gold for me to pick up. Look how far I'm getting on this run. It was near euphoric. The way it clicked in me of like, now I get it. Now I get it. The first couple of runs, I was just like, this ain't bad, but boy, it's a very slow progression because I wasn't playing it right. But when I started playing it like a breakout game instead of like whatever I was playing it as, more like I was playing it more of a top-down shooter rather than a.
You're playing it like a vert shooter.
Yeah, like instead of the way I should have been playing it.
You were playing Space Invaders instead of a Breakout.
Yeah. By the way, Lethal Migraine, you said you like the small confines of Brotato over the massive Vampire Survivor map. Well, this is a very confined map. It is I'm not sure exactly what the width of it is, but it's very confined. And all the enemies are coming straight from the front. They don't come from behind you or anything like that. So
just picture a pinball table.
Basically, yeah. Anyway, that thing clicked in me like I had not. I could feel it in my veins. I mean, I literally sat there as soon as it happened. I was like, there it is. There's the whatever that is, the endorphins or something. I literally felt the brain chemical move through my body. I felt it, and I said, "There it is. There it is. Now I want to play more." Now I want to continue. I couldn't continue more, but I wanted to continue going further. Luckily, it saved. It's a demo, and it saved where I was, so now I have those two characters unlocked. The next character that I unlocked was like the pirate or the colonel or something. I can't remember what it was. But each character, and just like Vampire Survivors, your main character, or I guess your default character that you start with, he's just, he's your middle of the road. He's your Mario. He's your Ken. He's your Ryu. He's just your basic.
Yeah.
Then other characters that you unlock may have hey, this guy fires slower, but his base stats are higher.
You got specialists coming
exactly.
in now.
Yeah. So now they have a little perk with them as well. And so, yeah, anyway, it clicked. Boy, it clicked. I mean, it's on my wish list, and I will own it whenever it's released. I don't know when it's going to release, but it hit. It hit, and it hit so well. So yeah, it really did, and I really enjoyed it. If you want to know what I'm talking about, just look for Ball X Pit on Steam. There's a demo there for you to enjoy. Download the demo, play it. I used a controller, so go for that if you want to. I have no idea what a keyboard would do. By the way, it's all pixelated, so it doesn't your machine, regardless of beefy or not, probably can run it.
Drain your resources on that one.
Yeah, probably will run it no problem. So, I think, that's one to look out for. It really, really is. Boy, did that click for me, man. And it was great because I was it's weird. I say it's weird, but it was interesting how the first 4 runs or 3 runs, ever how many, when I was just sitting there thinking, this is going to take me a while. It's kind of cool, but boy, it's going to take me a while to get up there. I wonder when I'm going to have a really good run. And then I realized, yeah, that's right. Play it more like a breakout thing. And boy, man, that hurt. But that was, yeah. Oh, man, was that good. So, anyway, I can't recommend it enough. Really good game. And so, anyway, what was the name of that game? I will put it in here. It is Ball X Pit. Oop, there you go. That's the name of the game there for you, Lethal. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to jump into, I guess we could do Sony State of Play. I guess we could go in order here and do Sony State of Play and go over the stuff there, some of that. Look, that Summer Games Fest thing from last night, I think it was around 2 hours long, which it did not need to be.
Ads and guests or whatever, or what's the term? Fluff and filler.
Yes, definitely. Things to pay the bills, I would say. Because First Descendant was more of an ad. Nobody came out and started talking about, hey, here's new stuff for First Descendant. It was more of just an ad.
And the first I heard about it was playing the PS5.
Yeah,
I booted the thing up and it says, here's news from the games you have. Here's what we got from Summerfest. Oh, a little 93 second ad, like you said.
Right.
So, I get what you're doing. Then I went to the website and saw what it was all about. I said, August 7th. Okay.
So, yeah. We'll come back and we'll talk about Sony State of Play. We still got Switch 2 news and we've got Summer Games Fest to go into. A lot of great stuff, and we will be doing that once we get back. Here is music. Again, it's the new games. We're in, I think, November of last year, currently on the game releases. So here's music from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate. This name of this track is just called Choose. So anyway,
I think I got that one.
Did you pick up Splintered Fate?
I think I did. I think it was like a free thing, and it was just in my
a free thing.
Maybe. I know I see some new Turtles game sitting in my queue for in my library.
Really?
Yeah, I'll have to look it up.
Please do.
It was Turtles.
I'm very curious. I would like to know about that because I'm really interested in that game, but probably on PC more than anything else. Anyway, we'll be back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. And welcome back into In-Game Chat. Music here from Rise of the Golden Idol. The track is called The Neptune. All right, let's start with Sony's State of Play. One of the better states of play that, or at least that's the consensus I've gotten from reading the internet. And we all know they're right. So, but it seemed to be the case that the Sony State of Play or PlayStation State of Play was not too bad. I thought at first I didn't really have much hope for it because they started off with a Lumines Arise, which I don't know exactly where we are in the Lumines franchise, but that thing's been around since the PSP days. In fact, I think it was a launch title for the PSP. Might have even been a packet. Well, yeah, I can't remember. But anyway, I remember playing it way back when. And then I remember getting it on the Xbox 3, the Xbox Arcade, on the Xbox 360.
Oh, goodness, since 2004?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and latest release was June of 2018.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, something, Luminous remastered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a rhythm Tetris type thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've often enjoyed it, and when I saw it, I was like, "Hey, that's a great start." But I really would have thought they would have come out, heavy hitting. Mm-hmm. But I thought, well, I don't know. Is this setting the tone, or is this just like here's some appetizers before we give you the meal to see what was coming up? Then we got Pragmata, which is a game from Capcom that apparently has been several years ago. We got a little bit of an announcement for it, and then finally we got gameplay this week with a lot of third-person action stuff going on there. And at some point next year is when we're going to get it on the PS5. But again, that was like, okay, there we go, something. Whether or not, that's a ways away, and who knows if it'll make that date or not. So what do we got next? Then they showed off Romeo is a Dead Man. And as I was watching that, I was like, this looks very Suda 51 here. This looks very, what was his game? No More Heroes and Killer
7.
Killer 7, I think, was another one of him. So
Grasshopper Manufacturer, yep.
Yeah, man. And I just thought, oh, there's some style.
Let It Die.
That was one of his?
Let It Die.
Yeah.
I remember Grasshopper Manufacturer, Let It Die, yeah.
So he mentioned that would be coming out in 2026, but also said maybe an interview after this whole thing was going on said he said that specifically because of GTA 6. Mm-hmm. In other words, it's probably coming out next year, but we're not sure if it'll be before GTA 6 or after GTA 6. And the reason that they had waited on it was because of GTA 6, not knowing when that was going to get a release. Yeah. So that's also why they're not giving you a date right now. GTA 6 holds where it's at, then they'll be able to give a date, but he really does not want to compete against that. And as well he shouldn't, honestly. Then we saw, let's see, and I can't really tell you much about what Romeo is a Dead Man is a third-person thing or whatever. I mean...
Sounds like a gritty mind... something that plays with your mind, really.
Yeah, and looks good doing it. Very much, I would say style over substance, but the substance there too, but it's a lot of style.
Gritty action, comedy, and mind tricks. Yeah. I'm guessing from the title. Yeah.
Next up, Silent Hill F, which I don't necessarily think it's F as much as it's pronounced fugue, I believe. Mm-hmm. At least somewhat of what I see of the F seems to indicate that. But anyway, third-person horror, of course, it's Silent Hill. It's the next Silent Hill. It was all in Japanese with subtitles. And, it's your horror thing. It's Silent Hill. There you go. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say that it's samey, because it definitely doesn't seem samey. Some of the moves and the enemies look samey as far as the universe of Silent Hill is concerned. Mm-hmm. Especially going back to the Silent Hill and Silent Hill 2, at least. But we'll just have to see where that goes. September 25th this year on the PS5 for that one. What was the next one we saw? I thought it was Castlevania. It turned out to be Bloodstained, the Scarlet Engagement.
Spiritual successor, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. A sequel to the beloved indie and spiritual successor to classic Castlevania games that'll be coming out 2026 on PS5. Looked really good. I was enjoying what I saw of it, even though I thought it was Castlevania. When it turned out it wasn't, I was like, well, it doesn't necessarily turn me off of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take away my interest.
Yeah.
Because it's not Castlevania, but sure. I tell you what
but it sure does look the part.
I know, it does.
So there you go.
But I tell you what did, my bathroom break or my, what else is out there for me to look at was when they revealed the Digimon Story Time Stranger, whatever that is. They're just, it's not my type.
It's not for you.
And I'm not saying, yeah, exactly. Which it means we're likely not going to discuss it. I don't know if that's something you'll play. No. So it's
look, JRPGs are not my style. Doesn't mean JRPGs are bad.
Right. And that's my point. Is that I'm not saying this is a bad game. It just ain't my thing. Which means it's likely to get very little coverage here for us because I'm just not going to play it and I'm not going to follow it to find out what it is or what it does or anything like that. Okay. I'm checking because Wario, just to see what happens here.
Oh, free deal.
No, not a free deal, but, every now and again.
Yeah.
This one. Yeah, boy. Final Fantasy Tactics. Mm-hmm. It's basically a remake. It includes the two versions of the original game, a classic version, which is a faithful recreation, and then they're going to have an enhanced version with improved graphics and more coming to the PS5 and PS4 on the 30th of September. This was a rumored thing, or at least a highly anticipated, they're probably going to show it off today type of thing, a Final Fantasy Tactics sort of remake. I remember Final Fantasy Tactics from a long time ago, and I never played it, but I'm absolutely interested in this. I really, really am. This and two other games that has nothing to do with Sony, but the Dragon Age, I think it's Dragon Age 3 remake 3D thing, or 3D, 2D type thing, and Dragon Age 1 and 2, I think. Mm-hmm. The remakes on those I'm kind of interested in, but that Final Fantasy Tactics definitely piqued my interest there. Then there was more information about Baby Steps. Baby Steps is a game that I probably will not play, but I will probably watch people play, or at least watch highlights of something, because it looks like it's a funny type game, but I don't necessarily know that I want to go through the frustration of playing it.
I think we described it as a 3D QWOP.
It is. It's a QWOP game, or getting over it, or which I think is the same thing. But yeah, the release date is coming out September 8th of this year. Again, it looks like it's just far too frustrating to play, but we'll see. I'm hoping we get a demo out of it. It could be a PlayStation Plus title or something. I'm not sure. But the humor is there, but the frustration of playing it to get to that humor might be too much for me. I don't know. Because watching people play QWOP is fun. Playing QWOP is not fun. You get frustrated.
Or getting over it.
Same thing, getting over it. Watching people play getting over it is kind of fun. Playing getting over it is very frustrating.
If anybody's ever wanted an example, watch Markiplier play getting over it. Then he was not happy.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way.
Well, no, and that's part of the fun of watching other people play, is watching them get frustrated while playing it, because it ain't you that's getting frustrated while playing it.
Better him than me.
Yeah, that's basically how that works out. Then we get a game called Hirogami, which allows you to transform into a variety of creatures through the power of paper and folding paper. September 3rd release on PlayStation 5. It kind of looked interesting, kind of looked fun, kind of looked like a digital-only type title, not going to get a physical type release. One of those,
unless you got some special deal with something or whatever,
limited run games or something like that, sure. It was fine, no problem. Everybody's Golf Hot Shots. So I saw that and I was just like, it's Everybody's Golf again. I remember, again, here's another one that was on either the Vita or the PSP. Hot Shots Golf. I think is what it was called. It wasn't called Everybody's Golf Hot Shots, but it was called Hot Shots Golf.
Hot Shots Golf, yeah.
Yeah, they seem to be combining those. And I was like, nah, until they showed, hey, the pre-order bonus is you get Pac-Man in the game. I was like, well, that might get my money. PS5 on September 5th for that one. I'm a sucker for Pac-Man, y'all. I've mentioned this. I've talked about it. I am a sucker for Pac-Man. Then what did we get? A retro throwback. There's thunder.
Yep.
Retro throwback called Ninja. It's Ninja Gaiden, isn't it?
Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah,
Ragebound.
Ninja Gaiden Ragebound.
Yeah, looks like the work that Dotemo's doing with Shinobi that they're working on. Looks pretty much the same.
Yeah. Which again, this was a nice little kind of 2D side scroller or vertical or whatever. I was interested in it.
Yeah.
That will be July 21st on the PS4 and the PS5. Then we got to look at Cairn, which I love saying. Cairn, Kairn. It's the mountain climbing game. I was okay with it. I know a lot of people may not be. It probably doesn't really hold a bunch of action or anything like that. But for whatever reason, I have this interest in this game. I likely won't once I play it because I'm afraid it's going to be one of these really difficult games, movement-wise and everything else. I'm kind of
if you tell me the game is mountain climbing simulator, mountain climbing is hard. So
if
you want an accurate representation of how difficult it is, yeah, it probably would be something.
It is hard, but also that was just Wario. It is hard. However, there is a game on the Quest 2 or whatever, one of the VR things, and it's a mountain climbing game. And and when I thought about it, watching trailers for it, and especially when you're watching trailers for it in VR, I thought, hey, that's kind of cool. But then I thought, well, let me put myself in the shoes of playing it. There's no sense of danger.
Yeah.
Because your feet are firmly planted on the ground in VR.
Yeah. And VR, from my experience anyway, everything is like really straightforward and simplistic. Nothing really, really complicated in there. So you can get, because it's more about the immersion and the actual working of controls here and there to get you where you want to be. But in a game like Cairn, if you're going to be simulating real mountain climbing, you're going to have to put a little bit more in there than you could in the VR game.
Yeah, and so I'm really not exactly sure. Again, there will be let's see, the trailer is coming to PS5 in November. Oh, there is a demo available today, so I will either pick that. I don't know if there's a demo on Steam, but I believe it is coming to PC as well. But there's a demo on the PS5, so I may pick that up and just give it a shot, just to see how the gameplay works. Because I am interested in it, but if the movement controls are like just too annoying, I guess, yeah.
You got to get everything right to succeed and move up.
That's my
type of thing.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest concern, and I think the last time we saw this game, that was my biggest concern, was the controls. We got to look at the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, and we really didn't get all the look of the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, but there seems to be a lot there. Retro titles you'll be able to play in a new collection with some arcade footage in there. It contains Mortal Kombat 2, MK3, Ultimate MK3, MK4, and I'm almost positive we got Game Boy versions of the old MK, and maybe some more handheld. I don't know if there's a Game Gear or Sega.
Game Gear,
yeah, I can't remember, but there are a lot of Mortal Kombat versions in this collection. I'm curious.
I feel like it was Contra. It was like 20-something titles in that thing.
Which one?
In
Contra?
Contra Collection or something like that, yeah.
I'm really curious about everything they want to throw into this, because there's also... oh, gosh. What was the one where it was just Sub-Zero, Mortal Kombat something Sub-Zero, and it was kind of a not even a side scroller. I'm not sure what it was.
I know what you're talking about. It was like the one with Liu Kang and Kung Lao, Mythologies.
And maybe that's what it was.
What was it, like Sub-Zero, Serena, and Quan Chi or something like that?
I can't remember.
It was some
focused on Sub-Zero, and it was
focused on Sub-Zero.
It wasn't necessarily a fighter. I mean, it had fighting elements in there, but it wasn't kind of like a fighter.
I want to say it was Mythologies.
It could be. But there's a lot to it, and I'm curious as to everything that they put in there. Mm-hmm. I'm really, really curious how far they go.
MK Mythology, Sub-Zero.
Right. Does that get added into here? Mm-hmm. You know, it says it's the Legacy Collection, so how far do they go with that?
Came out in 1997.
Do you stop at MK4? Do you go further?
Let's see.
With MK Annihilation? Is it Annihilation, I think?
Annihilation, yeah. Let's see. When did Shaolin Monks come out? Oh, 05. Okay. Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks.
Yeah, does that get in there? Anyway, I'm curious about it. We don't know.
Yeah.
But it's sometime it's
so basically, are you doing straight fighting, or are you going to put the spin-offs in there as well?
I'm curious. Yeah. And if you are doing the fighting, then how far do you go with it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, probably up to the point. I mean, I don't know, up to the point of the reboot, I guess, or the whatever MK. I don't know. You back it off. You don't do MK9. You don't do. Was there an MK8? Or was it called something else? Was that MK versus DC?
Please don't put that in there.
They're not. I don't think they are. I'm pretty sure they're not, but I don't know. I'm just curious as to what all comes in.
MK DC, the worst hurricane kick invitation I've ever seen in my life. Yeah.
Then we got Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. It's the remake of Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater. New gameplay trailer for that game, and I didn't play that, but I'll play it. I never played it when it originally released, Snake Eater.
That was a throwback. Took place in the 60s, right?
60s or 70s,
The original Snake was original Snake was the character
and so I'm really interested in that one with this remake because it looks really, really good. And I mean, you know, next to
I played. It wasn't a bad game.
Next to what's his name? Who am I trying to? Sam Fisher.
Sam Fisher.
Yeah, you knew who I was thinking of.
Stealth guy. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Stealth guy getting all the play, and one isn't. Still in the shadows.
Mm-hmm. So I'm interested in that one very much. I thought of you for that next one, man.
Yeah. It's one of them titles that's.
Aren't you glad you have a PS5 now?
Yeah. Yeah, before the price spike, but yeah.
Neo 3 is what we're talking about.
Yeah, this is a title that I played one, got like 60% of the way through it, and for some reason I stopped, and I haven't picked it up since. And then 2 came out, and I thought, I need to finish 1, but since 2 is here, I may as well pick that up too. And it was at a discount, and I picked that up too. Never touched it. Yeah, but I still have it.
Well, you got time.
So I got time now.
Because this comes out in 2026. It says early 2026. But it's got a demo right now. You can go download the demo and play that on your...
I wonder if they're giving the perks for the demo like they did in... one, it was either 1 or 2.
If they did it in 1 or 2, they might be doing it in this one.
It was a perk. If you beat the boss in the demo, you had a unlock in the full game when it came out. Or something like that. It was pretty good. Good little perk to have too.
They jumped into VR, which was another P break for me. Thief VR, we saw that. I mean, it's great. Thief is still doing a thing, and now they're just doing a thing in VR. Mm-hmm. Tides of Tomorrow. It's a brand new game. That was a new one that showed up. Got a trailer, and it was all kinds of colorful. It was a first-person action game set in a flooded dystopian world. It's coming out February 24th of next year on the PS5. But there was what am I trying to think of? There was a hook to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't necessarily sure what that hook was, but it involves other players. And anytime you start bringing in other players into your game, even though it's not a multiplayer kill thing or whatever, if it's a multiplayer work together thing, that's a coin toss as to who you're going to get working with you or whatever. So I'm not sure on that one. Do want to see more, but it's coming out in February of next year, so there's plenty of time to see more. Astrobot showed up telling us that we're going to get brand new levels, 5 new challenge levels and new bots coming at some point this year. I don't know when it said it was going to be, but we're also going to get the Astrobot controller coming back this year as well. What else did we get? Sea of Remnants. A reveal trailer for Sea of Remnants. At first I thought this was Sea of Thieves. I was like, is this an upgraded Sea of... What is it showing? There's sailing, there's navigating various islands, and then there's mythical creatures to fight as well. It's coming in 2026. Maybe. I don't know. Sword of the Sea. As soon as they showed it off, I was like, "This is Journey. This looks like this looks like Journey, the old Journey game." Well, it's from the makers of Journey, but it is coming out August 19th, and it'll be available on PlayStation Plus, and it's coming to the PS5, which is fine. Great, I'll be there to play it. Then FBC Firebreak was the co-op game. It's from Remedy's Control series. It's PvE type stuff. June 17th is when that's going to get released. New PS Plus games coming out this summer. Deus Ex is coming to the Classics catalog. Twisted Metal 3 and 4 coming to the Classics catalog. Resident Evil 2 and 3 coming to the Classics catalog. And later this month, Myst and Riven will be out as part of the Days of Play, which is great. At some point, I'm going to convert my years and years of PlayStation Plus into the PlayStation Plus Classics or the PlayStation Plus Essential or whatever. That still haven't figured out their naming convention for that thing. Mm-hmm. We got a look at the James Bond game from IOI Interactive, I believe, which is First Light, 007. First Light is what it's called. That's our first look. Looks very much, what did I call it? Bond Charted is what it looked like. Very much an action-type piece. Gave me some Uncharted feels, but it was set in the James Bond skin. Coming out next year on the PS5 as well. Got a brief glimpse of Ghosts of Yote. And we're getting a deep dive on that coming up in July. So we really didn't get much for that. Then to finish it off, is it what? How do you know how to pronounce that? Marvel.
I'll just guess. Marvel took on Fighting Souls.
Took on Fighting Souls. It's from Arc System Works, and originally I just thought, is this MVC? You know, is this Marvel versus Capcom? Because anytime you see a Marvel fighting game with that kind of animation, I was just thinking, but it's Arc Systems Works, not Capcom's not involved. Then I realized, no, it's nothing but Marvel. It is the new Marvel fighter, and I don't think. I don't know what the situation is with Marvel versus Capcom, if they've lost that license or if...
Yeah, it was something about the X-Men weren't included in Marvel... Something with the X-Men couldn't be included in some game they made, and something about licensing or whatever. Some deal about that, but I see Storm, so something must have been freed up.
How did you, as far as the fighting community, their reaction to this seemed pretty good. Yeah, they seemed excited about it.
Arc Systems, maker of Guilty Gear.
Guilty Gear, yeah.
Games, yeah. I mean, that has a good look to it. So
that's what I wanted to get was your thoughts on this, just for the fact. I mean, I know it's very early. It's coming to PS5 and PC sometime next year. It's a 3v3 fighting game, so not 3 players, but you will have 3 characters on your team.
Yeah.
And the other player will have 3 characters on their team, and then you can switch them out and that sort of thing. As far as I know, we don't really know everything about it. Yeah. But it seems to take a whole lot from Marvel versus Capcom. Animation style, probably some of the tag team, bring in other people, other fighters and that sort of thing. So it seems to borrow a lot from that. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It seems like it's well received, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The fighting game community has... Oh, and I didn't even mention the Fight Stick.
Okay.
The new fighting controller. Did you see that?
For Tokon? Or is it something...
It's just for the PlayStation 5.
Okay.
It was a... I don't even know where it's at. That it's not even shown off here. Look up PlayStation Fight Stick, and you'll see it. It's not in what I've got here.
What, the Project Defiant?
No. I don't think so. I don't know if they have a name. PS Fight Stick. There it is. PS Fight Stick.
Well, I see Hori, Nakon, Kwamba.
Nah, man. Where is it? That's on Project Defiant is what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Project Defiant. That is it. That is the...
Yeah, PlayStation reveals their own wireless fight stick controller for you.
Yeah. Now, normally wireless does not fit in well with the tournament folks. but it's got you can wire it. In other words,
Yeah.
you can plug it into the system and wire it. So yeah, Fight Stick for the PlayStation. Which, you know, when they showed that off before getting to the Marvel game, it was just like, oh, they made a Fight Stick. Well, good on them. And then they got to the Marvel game, and it's like, oh, they made a Fight Stick for the Marvel game is what they did.
Yep.
I mean, up until then, we had only had the Mortal Kombat collection, which you don't really need a Fight Stick for, but that's sure, you know, in the Legacy collection, sure, what if you want to. But yeah, there it is.
Yeah, I mean,
Project
most
Defiant.
part, we just got the Quambo or some Hori stick or get some import that we can mod up and get it to our liking and just play with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, good showing for Sony. We are way behind here. We need to take a break. When we come back, we will jump back into it. We've got the Switch 2 release, and we've got the Summer Games Fest to get into. Right now, here's music from Mario and Luigi, Brothership. It is the title track for it. We'll be back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. And welcome back into In-Game Chat. This is music from, it's the main theme for Planet Coaster 2. You know, when you build a theme park.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Didn't expect vocals.
It's kind of got some, you know, some vocals, I guess. I didn't know they carried on through. Oh, there they go. They went away. Good. Anyway, not that it matters. Anyway, welcome back to the show. So, we did the Sony State of Play. I forgot to mention the whole Witcher thing that they did, the State of Unreal that took place earlier this week, where we got to see some Witcher 4 stuff, although that was a heavily, what's the term, produced video type thing. Even though the guy was playing it live, they were doing all these camera moves and switches and all these different things that they were showing off in this little demonstration to show how they were using Unreal to build The Witcher 4. It never... The entire time, the whole thing says not actual gameplay. Or not representative of actual gameplay or something like that.
Yeah.
They've done this before, CD Projekt Red. They did this with Cyberpunk. They did it, I think, with The Witcher 3 as well, where we get this demonstration that looks amazing, and then the game comes out. And I'm not saying it looks bad, but it doesn't hold up to the demonstration that we had seen, you know? So I can't really put a lot of faith into it. I know it's there, and I know they're trying to go for it, but I don't necessarily can put a lot of faith that we're going to see it look like that. If we do, that's great. I have no problem being proved wrong in this. I don't mind at all, because that means, hey, we got something really, really cool looking. But yeah, that was shown off. Then we got to, let's see, then it was Thursday. Then it was the release of the Switch 2. And we got, let's see, I know I put some news in there about it. First off, Nintendo did not send out any review units. There were no outlets that got early review units of the system so that they could review the system itself, or the games that come with it, or the games that are available for it, which kind of sucks because this is E3 week essentially, even though E3 isn't a thing anymore. So a lot of your game sites are busy like covering the E3 stuff or the Summer Games Fest stuff. They also picked up their consoles on Thursday, and now they're trying to rush through that to give you reviews of Mario Kart World and all the games, Cyberpunk 2 or Cyberpunk on the Switch too. A lot of stuff that they're trying to go through. They're trying to go back and see, hey, how did the upgrade on the Zelda game, how does it look on the Switch 2? What does it improve? What is all this? There's a lot to cover on this. And nobody's been able to review the system itself. I've been running off of just forum posts of people who have it and are talking about it and everything else. But at the same time, I also have my Switch 2 here with me in an unopened box because I have not broken the seal. I have not opened this up yet. It arrived Thursday from an order from Walmart. You giving me a look? What are you looking at? What are you saying?
The size of that box in the console. I mean, I thought it would be
bigger.
Bigger, yeah. I know it's not a full size console, but how big was the Switch box in comparison to that one? Pretty much the same.
I don't know where my Switch box is. My old Switch 1 box. I got the Switch OLED, which the Switch OLED was longer, I think. Like it was
GameCube.
Huh?
Is that about the size of a GameCube box?
No, well, it would be more cubey.
Well,
this is
I think a GameCube would fit in that, actually.
I don't. No.
Sure?
GameCube was much more of a not a pocket
Taller.
PC, but yeah,
That was taller than that.
Yeah. It was. It had girth.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, it was a cube.
Yeah.
And I get that this is the same thing, sort of. I mean, it's a 3D square here, but the console isn't.
Yeah.
The console is more flat than this and everything else. But I haven't opened it up yet. I haven't even broken the seal on this thing. Is still intact because I haven't sort of decided if I'm keeping this or not.
Yeah.
You know, I talked about it, thinking, I'm not going to do it, but I did it anyway because I thought I'm going to get one.
Yeah. It was a just in case purchase.
Yeah, and if we'll see how it goes. If these things are in high demand, maybe I can sell it for more. And makes profit off of it. People really want to pay that, sure, whatever. But at the same time, I also thought, I might keep it. And I've kind of been waiting for some reviews on the system itself. You know, as to what it is and that sort of thing. I watched a video last night about just hitting some highlights, some first impression type stuff of owning it, and it kind of leaned me more towards keeping it, but I'm not there yet. So this is it. It's the Mario Kart bundle. I've heard that stock, supply, whatever. Not too bad. In some places you can walk in and buy it. I don't exactly know where those places are. Could be your local Walmart, could be your game store, could your GameStop or whatever, could be your Best Buy, could be your Target. And oddly enough, if all of those fail, give Sam's and Costco, by the way.
Yeah, Sam's and Costco.
Sam's and Costco is another one. If those fail, an odd place to go, or at least seemingly odd place, but they do have them. I've seen them on the Reddits and the forums. Staples, the office supply company.
Yeah.
Which, interesting enough to bring up Staples. There was a store, single store in, I think it was Long Island. One single GameStop store that did this for about, I don't know how many consoles they did it for. It wasn't a massive amount. It was enough to make news, though.
Yeah.
They were stapling the receipt to the front of the box. The problem is, in Nintendo's infinite wisdom, the screen, the main part of the console, not with the Joy-Con controllers. I think the Joy-Con controllers are down here on the box. But the screen is right here. Face up. As soon as you open this box up, the screen is looking at you. So when they shoved the staples in this box, it went through the box. Then there's no foam here. There's nothing protecting it. Just cardboard and a plastic plastic whatever.
Not much protection
Bag.
between the box and the screen.
No, exactly. And it just went into the screen.
Tilt that box up, bottom half up towards me. Oh, yeah, that's why.
What?
Why the screen is pointed up that way. It's like the presentation, like, ta-da.
Oh, no, yeah, exactly. It's got the thing where you do this and it flips up, and it's like, hey, there's your screen.
There's your screen.
There you go. Like so, there's your Switch 2. So,
that's why it was packaged that way. But having it put that way, like I said, it's for presentation, but who is expecting you to put staples? What's that? What type of staples we talk about here? We talking about the normal staples for paper, or those thick, long ones for thick stacks of paper or cardboard like that?
I don't know. I think it'd be an office supply, like your regular office staple. But of course, they're just hammering it in there, and it goes through it. I think the cardboard through here is. I mean, if I can go by anything on what I'm looking at on the sides here, it's very thin.
Yeah, but I can't think of a GameStop that doesn't have stickers.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all over the place in the building, so I don't know why they didn't use that or just tape.
Mainly what I've been looking at, or at least what I've been reading about, is the quality of the screen. Mm-hmm. It's an LCD, and it's a quite big LCD, actually. It's an LCD screen, which, if you're coming from the Switch OLED to the Switch 2 with an LCD screen, you're getting a downgrade on that if you're going from the OLED. But the other part of that is... And this is sort of why I'm sort of leaning on, like, you know what, I will keep it. Just like with the OLED, and that's something I need to remember, is that when I got the OLED version of the Switch, I thought, it's going to look good. And it absolutely looked good in the handheld mode, because that's the only way you get to enjoy the OLED screen of the Switch. It doesn't improve the graphics of the game that are going up on maybe your OLED TV or your HD TV. It doesn't do anything for that. It's only in the handheld mode. And do you know how often I play my Switch in handheld mode? Hardly ever. If I'm going to play something on the Switch, I'm playing it on my TV. You get, well, for one, back on the Switch 1 days, you get better frame rate and 1080p, I believe. For that, once you play in handheld, it's like 720p and maybe a lower frame rate on it or something like that. It's different. Same thing with this, with the Switch 2. Regardless of the fact that the screen is now an LCD screen or that the screen is bigger, the amount of times that I will likely play it as a handheld is very, very small.
We're talking 80-20 or 90-10? Are we going
90-10 if you really, you could probably even go higher than that, like 95-5. Yeah.
Goodness. Okay.
It's just rare that I ever do. It's honestly, I have a Steam Deck, and it's rare that I actually play that because I've got the PCs right in the other room and just go in there and play it.
Right.
My commute, from work to here does not benefit me to do that. Way back in pandemic days, I did bring my Switch to work with me. Because I had plenty of time to do that. I was playing Animal Crossing. I was doing the bell farming or whatever the thing is that you do to get. I think you get bells, whatever the currency thing that you did. It was the stock market is what it was called, because you grew vegetables and then you sold them and you got a lot of money for them, in the game anyway. So. Yeah, it's one of those things. Now, maybe that changes. I have no idea, but my user experience is more of on the TV than it is on the handheld mode. Yeah. And with this on TV, you're getting 4K, HDR. You're getting apparently a pretty good looking game, and faster load times and that sort of thing. So, and now, again, I was buying things with the thought of. Maybe I'll get them and keep them. Maybe I won't. So I also picked up something else that just came in yesterday. And I brought it with me and unboxed it here, but I haven't unboxed it out of the box itself. It is the GameCube controller that goes with the Nintendo Switch 2.
Nice.
Because now they have GameCube games that are, I think, available online from this thing. Some of the old GameCube games. And... next to the Nintendo itself, my old Nintendo system had a pretty big library of games way back when, because it was the only one on the market, obviously. that was your gaming machine. And so games came out, they were coming out for Nintendo, and you played them. It wasn't like, is that going to be on PC or is that going to be on some other system? There was no other system. Mm-hmm. It was just Nintendo. Well, there was, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It was Atari, but not until we had, Super Nintendo and Sega, I think.
Sega. Mm-hmm.
Until then. But the Nintendo system, I had a large library of games. My Super Nintendo system, very small library of games. Mm. I did not own an N64. Then the GameCube released. That was, next to the Nintendo original, that was one that I had a very large library for. It was all mostly first party. I had Rogue Squadron, I had Mario plays every damn sport in the world, golf, tennis, soccer, baseball.
Yep.
I had Mario Sunshine, Luigi's... Did I have Luigi's Mansion? I can't remember if I had Luigi's Mansion or not. But I had Mario Sunshine. I had F-Zero. I had... I mentioned Rogue Squadron. What was that one by... not Crystal Dynamics, Silicon Knights. The one...
Eternal Darkness?
Yes, Eternal Darkness. Yeah. That's what it was. I had Eternal Darkness. I had Resident Evil Remake that they did on that one. I had Metal Gear Solid 2, the Twin Snakes, that was very specific to the GameCube. They did something a little different with that version than they did with the others. I don't know. It just keeps going on and on. I had a lot of titles for my GameCube way back when. Legend of Zelda Wind Waker was another one.
Okay.
My first Legend of Zelda that I actually put time into. I never did so with the previous Legends of Zeldas. You know, I tried to play them. They didn't click for me back when I was, 10 years old or however old I was when I was playing them. But Wind Waker clicked.
Yeah.
Problem is I never finished it. I think I got all the way to Ganon and I never finished. Never even walked into the boss room. I was just there. I'd worked my way there and I was like, I'm going to save and come back to this. And I never came back to it. So
30 years later.
Right. And that's why this controller appealed to me, because if they start adding GameCube games, which they are on the Nintendo, the online family.
Online
the online aspect.
Heck, the box even suggests that online, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's, man, just the nostalgia aspect of it is what I'm going after, and to play it on that. I wish I still have my Wavebird. I wish it still worked with this, if it would connect to that. It won't. But if it could, I would love to continue to play that as well. Because my Wavebird is somewhere. My GameCube is somewhere in the house, I think. I believe it is. So, yeah, it's looking likely, but we'll see. We'll see. So there it is for the Switch 2. As far as that is, let's see. I'm looking at the chat room here. Super Game Sniper says Switch 2 will have Soul Calibur 2 with Link in it from the GameCube. I remember that. I don't know that I actually own that game, but I do remember playing that game. No, it wasn't that one. It was the Xbox one, because I think Xbox had Spawn.
Yeah, I think Xbox had Spawn, Nintendo had Link, and
PlayStation had
who did we get?
Yoda. Was it Yoda?
No, we had.
No. It was somebody else from another fighting game, I think.
Yeah, it was some. I gotta look at it now.
Super Game Sniper says, I heard there was a protective film on the Switch 2 that you're not supposed to remove. That I have heard as well, to not remove the protective film that is on your Switch 2.
Heihachi from Tekken.
Okay, that's who it was. Yeah. I want to say Yoda was also on one of them. I thought it was Yoda and Spawn, or maybe I'm misremembering.
Soul Calibur 4. Soul Calibur 2 had Heihachi for the PlayStation 2, Link for the Nintendo GameCube, Spawn for the Xbox version.
Okay.
Then Soul Calibur 4 had Darth Vader, Yoda, The Apprentice, and Angol Fear.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, there you go. Get around to it at some point. I knew that I would not be setting this up that day that it came. There was just too much going on. I knew I wouldn't be doing it on Friday either, because you had Summer Game Fest going on that night or that evening or whatever the case may be, that afternoon and evening. I knew I was going to have to do the show today. Tomorrow you've got Microsoft's E3 thing, so it's probably not going to be tomorrow before I get around to it. Which is why it's still kind of on that fence of like, do I want to keep this? Do I want to, send it back? That sort of thing. I just, I'm still like, I don't know. I'm leaning more though towards now to like, yeah, keep it, because I think about it and I'm like, the screen doesn't matter because I don't play in handheld mode. Yeah. And even if I did play, even if I did play in handheld mode, I would probably be fine because I don't know. I just wouldn't care. But yeah, we'll see. It's there. I got it. Like I said, I don't think it's too hard to find out there, but your mileage may vary. We got to take a break. When we come back, we'll hit Summer Games Fest. We've got music now from a game called Slitterhead. This track is called Was That a Dream? We'll be back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. Welcome back into In-Game Chat. I was just looking up at the monitor there my shirt looks orange on the screen, but this is absolutely red. I don't know how it looks on yours, but I know on that TV behind you, it looks orange up on the screen. What does it look like? Are you looking at it?
I'm looking at your shirt and the switch box there.
Right.
It's about the same color.
About the same color,
It's about the same color on screen.
It's the same color.
Yeah, but it looks a little lighter.
But now it looks orange. It looks like it matches my shirt, which it does match, but it looks orange.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Weird.
Yeah, video settings. Oh, well.
Anyway, welcome back to the show. Music here from a game called Empire of the Ants. Fontainebleau Forest is the name of it, which I think is actually an actual forest, maybe. Mm-hmm. Anyway, welcome back to the show here. Let's hit up Summer Games Fest. It was felt like 3 hours, but it was 2 hours, which I feel like it might have been about 45 minutes too long. Just seemed to go on forever. Not because old Keighley had brought out a bunch of people to talk, although, the same people, well, Kojima was there. If Keighley's there, Kojima's always going to be there. Mm-hmm. Let's see, that's State of Play. There's the Summer Games Fest. I don't know that we're going to get to Day of the Devs, but we will see. I don't necessarily know that I'm going to be going through everything we saw at Summer Games Fest. I took notes as best I could, or at least brief little notes last night as I was watching. There was Mortal Shell 2 that we got to see. I didn't play Mortal Shell 1, but 2 looked like an improvement, obviously, in every single way. As far as visually, it looked really, really good. I don't know how much of that was gameplay, though. Which, by the way, keep that in mind as you're watching all this stuff, especially tomorrow when you're watching the Microsoft thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can get some flashy things, but look for gameplay.
But isn't that usually the case? It's usually going to be some...
Well, they're trying to sell you on something. They're trying to get your attention for this thing in the limited amount of time that a game has to do that.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, they won't show gameplay to make that happen.
Yeah.
They're going to show you the flashiest flash that they can flash. Mm-hmm. So that you will be hooked and interested, and that's it. You won't think about gameplay. Mm-hmm. But, so whatever. Let's see. Chronicles. Medieval Chronicles. I'm not sure. You didn't see much. It was knights and horses and things like that. Mm-hmm. I liked what I saw. I just want to see more of it. They did seem to, near the end there, the screen widened out and it showed a HUD, and it looked like it was going into gameplay. It just, you didn't go any further than that.
Mm-hmm.
It just showed the game HUD elements as it widened out, and then it was like, there you go, end of trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I could be skipping over a lot of stuff here. I don't remember because I really kind of only wrote down as it was happening. If they were doing a montage of stuff, I likely didn't write it down.
Mm-hmm.
There was a whole section of like anime games that I did not sit through. There's other stuff that I kind of just skipped because I was like, that ain't a me thing, and I'm just moving on. It's kind of like how I like to watch these. I don't like to be stuck in these things where I have to watch them. I like to be able to fast forward through stuff I don't want to see.
Yeah.
What else did we get? Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. They threw that out there, and I thought, that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Again, I'm sitting over here with the Mario Kart World bundle. Mario Kart is fantastic. Sonic Racing, that series is, I think, right up there with it. Especially the more I heard about this one, where the fact that it is going to be multi-platform. What was the other one? Cross-play enabled.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe cross-save enabled or something like that. So, yeah, you'll be able to play. So if you're on PC, you'll be able to play people who are playing on the PS5 or the Nintendo. Well, I don't know about the Nintendo Switch, but PS5 or micro or the Xbox or whatever, you'll be able to play against them in the online matches.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked what I saw of it. What else do we get? Code Vein 2. Yeah, probably not. I was like, no.
I'll be looking into that.
I know you will be. Yeah,
because,
exactly.
Because I played the original. Played the heck out of that, actually.
A lot of where I said no is probably more of what you would say yes. What else do we have? End of Abyss. I wanted to see more of that. I was like, okay, I'm with you on this. But yeah, I want to see more of it. See, I didn't talk about the Fortnite thing. We got Death Stranding 2. No gameplay, just a cutscene of some sorts. That was it. The game releases later this month, by the way. There was the Code Vein. I'm just seeing if I missed anything. And I wanted to look at End of Abyss again. Intriguing top shooter gameplay with mystery and that sort of thing. Okay, yeah, definitely for that. Mouse PI for Hire. I'm all about the animation in this thing, but I don't think I'm there to play it. It has not hooked me. Mm-hmm. It looks great. As far as the animation's concerned, it's getting me a very Cuphead feel of the style of animation.
Mm-hmm.
How fluid it really... I mean, just how much it looks like you are playing a cartoon type of thing, just like Cuphead was, where it was hand-drawn animation. And it looked really, really good. Same thing for this Mouse PI thing. I've been seeing a lot of it over the years, but I'm just not there for it. What else? Game of Thrones, I think, was next. Here's another one for you as far as gameplay is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
None. There was absolutely no gameplay for this Game of Thrones thing. None at all.
Just going off a name then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it says it's an RTS, but it gave you absolutely no gameplay of the thing. Now, maybe they've shown gameplay somewhere and I haven't seen it, but there was none this time. What else do we get? What is that? Oh, yeah. Atomic Heart 2. Atomic Heart I was not interested in.
How was that received anyway?
I didn't think it was received well.
Was it 50-50 or?
Yeah. I mean, not great, but also it wasn't considered a dud, but it also didn't seem like it was considered something that was like, it's massive, really well done. While the trailer was going on, I was just like, nah. Because I had remembered what Atomic Heart, the first one, was, and I had no interest in it. So 2 was not pulling me in. I liked what they were doing because they were giving you seemingly more freedom to play how you wanted to play, or what. I couldn't really figure it out. But when the trailer got done, somebody was up there talking about it, saying, we've refined the game mechanics. We're giving the player more freedom to play the game how they want to. And I was like, all right, okay. This is one of those sequels where it's kind of like Mass Effect. I don't know if you remember this. Mass Effect 1 played a lot. Mass Effect 2 played a lot different than Mass Effect 1 did.
Mm-hmm.
And I preferred how Mass Effect 2 played over Mass Effect 1. Mm-hmm. So much so that I played a lot of Mass Effect 2. Again, I didn't finish it, but I got a good ways into it. So Atomic Heart 2, with that being said, was like, okay, I'll keep my eyes open about it and my mind open about it just till I see more. Mm-hmm. Then there was something that went with it, which was something called The Cube. It's an MMORPG shooter set inside that world type of thing, which kind of was like, that might get me. You know, that might be a thing for me, but I don't know. We'll see. Marvel Cosmic Invasion. It's a kind of an arcadey beat 'em up.
Yeah.
Sale. Pick it up on the cheap or a humble bundle or something maybe. Onimusha, Way of the Sword. Here's my notes. A lot of happy gamers. Not me. That's what I figured. I know it's a pretty I don't want to say storied franchise. It's a well enjoyed franchise, I believe. But it wasn't it wasn't something I cared for. I was glad it's there because there's a lot of people who will enjoy that. The next game we got, and I was all about it, was the puppet game called Felt That. Because the puppets are made of felt, and it just looked really great. And so, yeah, it's a boxing game, but I was all about it, man. That is right up my alley, if just because it involves puppets, and I'm there for that. What else do we get? Killer N. This is what I wrote for Killer N. It's a type of game I've always liked, but I've never been good at it. The sort of, you're on this team and you're on that team, and you got to figure out who the murderers are, who the killers are, that sort of thing. And I've just never been good at that type of gameplay. Arc Raiders. I've heard really good things about Arc Raiders and all the betas and demos that have been going on, but it's getting an October 30th release date. But again, I've heard a lot of good things about Arc Raiders. I have not checked it out. I've just heard really good things about it. What else do we get? Dune Awakening. That is coming out. It's out this month, and it's an MMO. It's actually available to play now if you did pre-orders and got in on it. But I was kind of curious about it, and I think I've got it on my wish list on Steam. I need to take another look at it, but yeah. So, curious about it. It's an MMO set in the Dune universe. That's almost good enough for me, but I want to see more. I want to see how it works and how it goes. What else do we get? Chrono Odyssey. What I wrote on that one was maybe. I need to see and know more about it. Is it a Souls-like? Because that ain't me. Mio, Memories in Orbit. The art style was really good. It looked very, very pretty. I said yes on my little notes. You'll notice my notes get shorter and shorter as we go, just because holding my phone like this puts my elbow in a position, and it's really painful. Yeah. And so, yeah, which I'm hoping. By the way, I'm just to give you an update on that. I got stuff scheduled this week, folks, to hopefully work on this situation I'm going through with it. Out of Words, very what was it? It was handmade art, stop motion animation stuff in a co-op. I like the art. I don't necessarily know that I'm sold on the gameplay just yet. I do want to see more about it. So, yeah, might get me there, might not. Mafia: The Old Country. It's a Mafia game. I'll be there. I played 1, I played 2, I played 3. Didn't beat 1, didn't beat 2, didn't beat 3, but I played them all, and I'll be here for the Old Country, of course. Lego Voyagers. That was, I mean, it's Legos. I'm absolutely for it. I think it's a co-op type thing. Yeah, it just looked really kind of cool, and I'm interested in it. It's built in the Lego world, and I don't know yet. A lot of these games are like, I don't know. Nicktoons and the Dice of Destiny. I'm not there. Nicktoons are there's a fan base for them. I was never there for it. SpongeBob and all the others. I can probably tell you names, but There's no connection for me. I have no connection to them.
Yeah.
No pull for me. Other people, yes, there's plenty who will be down for that. Lies of P Overture. Have you got it? You still haven't played it,
I have
you?
not bought the game yet, but I always plan to. So maybe by the time I get around to it, they probably have that included. In
Overture is a expandalone
Okay, well.
that Shadow dropped yesterday during the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was available right then and there. And I thought, oh, okay, that's... I wrote down that it was DLC, but I found out, no, it is not DLC. You do not need... Oh, maybe you do. It says new DLC, but when I went to it's like $30, but I didn't think you needed the main game to play it. Maybe you do. I could be wrong on that, and I apologize for saying that. Fractured Blooms, I wrote probably not on my list. It's some garden and cooking simulation, but also is got horror elements to it. So I was like, no, probably not me on that one. Jurassic World Evolution 3, I said yes. I mean, it's a park builder with dinosaurs. Of course. Yeah, sure, I'm there. Mina the Hollower. That is from the Shovel Knight folks. And I wrote down maybe for that one. What else do we have? Deadpool VR. I didn't write anything for it. It's just something I'll never play. Dying Light, The Beast. That was also a maybe. I played the first Dying Light. I don't think I played Dying Light 2 or whatever, if there was a 2 for it. I don't know. It's probably not me. Mixtape. I was not down for Mixtape. It seemed to be just running on nostalgia and a soundtrack for nostalgia. I'm not necessarily big on the whole, like, remember this nostalgia thing. I think there was a time, but I'm not anymore, really, where it's a nostalgia sort of pulling me in. If I need nostalgia, especially from a soundtrack, I can go get those songs. It's like you putting them into the thing is not going to do anything for me. I know the songs. I can go listen to the songs. Yeah. However, they showed up in the Day of the Devs, which we're not going to have time to get to. This is all going to have to make it to the next week. They showed up in Day of the Devs, mentioned they would be out on Game Pass day one. And I thought, all right. And I saw more of it in Day of the Devs that sort of turned me around and said, sure, I might give that a shot. I really might give that a shot. Nostalgia regardless. I might do that. What else? Good Lord. I am not going to make this. Toa was the next one. And I said that's probably not my jam. What else do we get? Acts of Blood. I was all about it. I wanted to see more. I liked it. It seems like it's a fighter with Sifu elements or Batman Arkham elements with the fighting in there. I was down for that. Scott Pilgrim Arcade. I said nope. Not really a thing for me. Where am I at? Mind's Eye. I said they only showed about 10 seconds of gameplay. I'm a little cautious on Mind's Eye. It's coming out pretty soon. I'm a little bit like, what is this? What are you doing? Then they showed off the 007 Hitman crossover. Then Lego Party, which is a Mario Party, but it's a Lego-based thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was totally for it. Wildgate, I said no. A 20-player team shooter set in space. And I was like, nah. Blighted. I said, I don't know about this, but probably not. Ill. It's a horror game that looked amazing. I said, it looks fantastic, but I am not going to play that game.
The horror part.
Yeah, man, but it looked really good. Mecha Break, I said, also not really my thing. What was the next one? Infinitesimals? Looked kind of like, oh God, that thing from, oh man, now I'm losing my head here to remember what it was. I said I was sort of interested in it. It takes place when you're like a bug. You're really tiny. Street Fighter 6 did a really great, Season 3, they did a really great marketing ad with that one, with Kenny Omega. That was fantastic. It was just wonderful. I was totally happy, smiling the entire time I saw that. What else do I have here? Infinitesimal. Wu Chang. Let's see. I have Wu Chang, which Fallen Feathers. I said no. There was a Wu-Tang game, which at first I thought we were getting a new Def Jam fighter.
Not with those troubles of getting licensed for music.
Yeah, I know. But I really, really kind of liked what I saw for the Wu-Tang game.
Mm-hmm.
Into the Unwell, I said I was interested in that one as well. There was a nice animation art style to it. Stranger Than Heaven, that's the Project Century or whatever it was. It looks like it's Yakuza or whatever.
Yeah.
That I said I need to see more, but so far I'm in. I really liked that, seeing that. And then we got, there's probably more in here that I'm skipping, but we also got to look at Resident Evil 9. Requiem is what it's called. I was absolutely ecstatic about it, even though it's not really a title that I normally play. I'm just happy when gamers get what they want. And a lot of people want more Resident Evil 9. So that's going to wrap it up for us. I did not get to Day of the Devs, but I will next week, along with the Wholesome Game Fest, the Microsoft thing. We'll get to all that, but we got to run. Here is music from Astrobot. It is the Retro Rampage. You guys have a fantastic week. We will see you next Saturday. Enjoy the Microsoft thing tomorrow, I believe at noon. So we'll talk about that next week too. Sorry we had to rush. It's just, that's how it goes with us. We'll see you next Saturday.